Well, these videos are never easy to make, but sadly, here to inform everyone, my friends, the bad news that my cat Buck died yesterday. He'd been sick for a little less than 3 years now. He had diabetes, and the medical cost and upkeep was really hard to deal with at times, and you know, medicating him. There still seemed to have been issues and such. And, I was just trying to keep him going and keep him as healthy as I could and as possible. The last few weeks, were pretty stressful for me. You know, um, I really kept it in. I'm sorry to my friends, especially like Jen and a few people who I didn't confide in this with, because I was just dealing with it by myself, because that's what I kind of do sometimes. And I don't want to burden people with stuff, but you're supposed to talk to friends and people about your problems and stuff, like like my sister Jen said, don't be a martyr, right? But I don't know, I just been going through it, dealing with this, and seeing him getting, just how sick he was, and I knew it was inevitable. But yeah. So this past week had been pretty stressful for me, personally on the inside. I don't know if I showed it in any way, on the outside or in any little way. I mean, if I was a bit more like reserved or whatever, or not seem as jolly as I can be and stuff, because I saw how much sicker he was getting this week, and I thought it was inevitable that it could be soon, like really soon, and I kind of thought it could be this week. So um, I'm both relieved and heartbroken. And I say I feel guilty. I wish I could have taken care of him more. I did the best I could, but now, like, I'm down to my two cats. Down to Zoe, who's 16. I think she's gonna be 16 or 17 this year, and then Masha, who's I think she's gonna be 12 this year. So now it's down to the three of us. Me and my cats. Me and my two cats, I should say. When I came down here to Austin, it was six of us. And then I split up with Hannah, and then she went back to New Jersey. I mean, we still keep in touch, so that's a nice relationship still. But then Cormy, my tuxedo cat, she was 16. She passed away last summer. So she'd gotten sick over the course of the year. She'd gotten, like, recently sick. It wasn't even like, you know, it wasn't even like, you know, like with Buck, where it was something that he had, and it just, like, went on, and it was, kept going. So yeah, it sucks, really sucks. Thanks, John. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the comments, and yeah, it just should, it just really, shows how much time goes by, and how we all don't last forever and stuff, and we know that. But like I said, it's like half of a group I came down with, over 4.5 years ago. Two people and four cats, and now it's one person and two cats. So I mean, they seem and look really healthy, and are, but when I get some money, I'm going to take them in for checkups, just to make sure. I should start doing regular checkups with them, especially with Zoe, since she's older and such. But her joints and her health is really good. She still, like, leaps off of couches onto the floor, hops up on the bed. I kind of think so. You know that. But Buck was an awesome cat. He really was. Hannah found him. She went, like, back in, I guess, like the end of 2008. She was going out to get some dozen eggs, and she saw him on the street, and she said he always had this smile. So, like, she saw this cat smiling at her, so she picked him up. And I remember coming home and seeing this cat and stuff, and I was like, whoa, who's this kid? Like, it was like funny seeing like just another cat because we already had I think 3 cats in the house. We had so we had Zoe Cormy and we also had Lulu, which Jen Street Pizza has now. So yeah, he was awesome. He was a great cat. He was very charismatic, very rambunctious. He was very male. He loved we call him Lover Boy. He loved he loved the girls. He used to like nibble. He would nibble on your back of your calf. He had little love bites. They weren't like really like hard or anything. So, but he was such a cool cat. It was great. Funny to have a male cat, and I'd kind of like play with him a bit, a little roughhouse him just a bit, but not too much. And he kind of like bite back or get a little feisty back and stuff. He was great. And he used to wear he used to wear this collar, and like it got like elongated at one end or something, like he kind of chewed it. So like this, he looked like he was wearing like this red tie. We used to call him Gentleman Buck. So that was like funny and stuff. But and our old friend Saul named him. Actually named him because his nickname was his nickname or his tag was Buck. So he called him Buck, but he called him, the way he pronounced it sounded like Book, but it was Buck. So he named him. And thanks, Luna baby, for the comments. And yeah, and I think one of the sweetest things was seeing. Thanks, Mom. Thank you, love you. But I think one of the sweetest things, I'll post a photo of this, was Masha and Buck developed this really sweet relationship. Like they were just very affectionate with each other, always laying with each other. They'd lick each other. They kind of like didn't do it like in the later years, but once in a while, like Mosh would come over and kind of lick Buck in the back of the ear like she used to, and he'd just sit there and be all like, and then when he was sick, she was like really tending to him, like the old days and stuff. So it was really sweet. It was really sweet to see that. And one of my funniest memories of Buck, like he's a street cat. He always like wants to run out of the house or get out of the house. So like, when we lived in South Philly, we lived in this like side streets, like all row homes, and like there were alleys and like these like gates, like gated doors, like wooden gate doors. So one night he got out, and he like I guess like Hannah woke up in the morning or something and couldn't find him, was calling for him, and then she looked out and like she sees like he I guess he was trying to get into like one of the alleys, but like he was like still pretty little, I guess. And his head got stuck at the bottom of the gate door, because like the gate door didn't go all the way down to the ground. It like was like like a couple, like I don't know how many inches off, but like maybe a few inches off the ground. So like a little opening at the bottom. So like he got in and got stuck, and he didn't get hurt or anything. But like Hannah says, I always have this hilarious visual. She said he was like wiggling his butt, like he was just like he was like trying to like just get loose, and like she's like he's like wiggling his back body, his butt. It was like, yeah, that was like so funny. Like she went, she freed him and stuff, like got him loose. He was fine. He didn't have any injuries or anything. So, and then there was this other time he was just sitting at the windowsill at our house in South Philly, and this cat came by on the street, and they like started talking. I could hear Buck being like rah, rah, or whatever, and I'm just like, it wasn't like angry. It was just like, what's he meowing at? And I look out, and it was like this cat, and I swear that it's like they were kind of like meowing with each other, talking with each other. It's pretty hilarious. So, oh, Mom, you're asking. It was just complications from the diabetes. That's what it was. Like like I said, I was, it was hard to keep up with that, with the medical care and the medicine, and it was expensive, and it didn't seem to be like working at times, or I don't know why, like it wasn't effective, or whatever was going on. So, but yeah, thanks, Carrie, baby. But yeah, so that's basically what it was. Just complications due to the diabetes that he had for like the last few years and everything. So, but I just wanted to get online here real quick and let everyone know. And I'm gonna post some photos in a bit, that I have of him. It's funny because like he did come up in some memories this week on Facebook. So, and like one of them came up was like when we first moved here, and he was like really still like in his like healthy robust state and everything. So like I said, I think he got diagnosed. I started noticing him, like Jen definitely noticed something like in like mid 2018, you know, like, and then I was like, I was dealing with some other shit then, so, and then I was like, by the time I started paying attention and getting around to getting him to the vet, he had been diagnosed with this stuff. So, he's not suffering anymore. That's the good thing. It's just kind of weird in a way, although at the same time, his presence was very, like, I don't want to say minimal, because he was still responsive. He'd still come up, and he was a very touch sensitive cat. Very, he loved to be petted. Really, I mean, really well. Like, I pet him on his stomach, and he'd just be like, you could just see how relaxed he was, and you could like, he'd come up and like rub his side of his face against you, or he'd he used to like lay next to me, like next to my lap and stuff, or put his paws on my feet and lay there. So, he's a really sweet, affectionate cat. He was awesome. Like, anybody who knew him or met him, they know how awesome he was. So, but, all right, well, I'm gonna get going. I gotta make some breakfast. I'm going to work at 1:30. If anyone's in the Austin area, come pay your boy a visit if you're around. It's 617 West 29th, Oat Willie's, off of Guadalupe, near off the drag, near campus. If you're around, stop by, visit Maryville 10:30. If not, I understand schedules. It's Saturday, so, but I don't know. I'll see some of y'all soon. And I love y'all. Thanks again for checking in the comments and stuff. And I'll talk to you soon. All right, see ya. Peace.